Hello guys, I'm Annihilator and welcome to my tips and tricks kind of map guide on Himmelsdorf. Now this is going to be showing you positions you can use to either spot at the start of the game or maybe shoot through cracks in the walls and stuff like this. So the first one here that I have is a spot from the south base to spot the north crossing. There you can spot sometimes slow tanks coming out of the cap going to the west, or maybe it's later in the late game. So as you can see, I can spot the KV-5. It's about 370 meters. Only thing you need to worry about though is tanks going too fast. The spotting check won't get there in time, and there's a chance they'll go past undetected. So it generally only works for slow tanks, maybe TDs, T-95, Jagdpanzer 100, stuff like that. So from the same position, you can also spot people going to the hill. As will be demonstrated here now, you can spot the KV-5 again once it's going across. And you can barely even see him, but you can spot him. That's the important part there. So now we move on to the next spotting location. This time it's from the other side. This is to spot artillery at the start of the game. Or maybe slow tanks, again, the same, can be applied. You can see right down there through to the cap. And you can usually spot artilleries going in this direction, or maybe slow tanks, as I said before. Might be useful to just get some intel early on in the game, or get some spots if you're doing some spotting missions for light tanks. Okay, so the next position is a bit more kind of ESL orientated, but might be useful in randoms in some situations. This video will also include ESL positions, just to kind of cover as many as I can. So you can spot from this southern window right across here to maybe tanks crossing or tanks that are stationary in that window. Can be quite useful, especially in ESL when you can have T-32s there a lot of the time. Now the next one is on the hill. We move up to the hill now on the east side of the map, and this is for looking down onto the banana and the G line, I believe it is. Now normally if you do something like this, what I'm doing now, you won't get very good gun depression. You'll be rocking back and forth and you're a very easy target. Now the best way to do this is to drive back here and come a bit sharper on the corner, and you can see it tilts down a little bit there. So if you drive off with your track kind of just ever so slightly hanging off, you have much better gun depression, so you can shoot very easily down onto the banana and the camping E100 and the banana there, and you can also pull back quickly to cover. So you both have cover to pull back if anyone's aiming at you, and you get much easier shots. A win-win situation. Now this is again on the hill, from perhaps the south team's perspective. You can shoot through this gap onto tanks that are crossing here much earlier than anywhere else on the hill. So you might get an advanced shot, plus it's almost impossible to return fire to this position. You should be pretty much invincible there. So from the standard positions like up here, you obviously won't be able to shoot on the D road very easily at all, so that gives you a much better shot. We're now moving on to the north cap, where you can shoot through this window, particularly more kind of ESO use. Here you wouldn't really be here in a random game, but you never know. You can shoot through this window, get a very easy shot on anyone peeking here, and it leaves you very safe as the top of your turret is also covered. Now the next one is going to be looking just kind of towards the east of where we're currently sitting. You can go, normally, you can go just standard in this window, but you're a bit of an easy target because you're not really moving too much and there isn't any cover. So this can protect you from guys who are peeking on this corner, as if you're not protected already, you're hull down, but this can protect you even more to only expose yourself when you're shooting. So you see there's a piece of rubble here on the right hand side of the screen. This is actually a piece of solid cover. You can't shoot through this, you can't hit the top of a IS-3 turret from here, and it gives you a really nice quick peek ability on these guys, and it's very easy to get out of as well. You just have to turn your tank one way and you'll slowly rotate out. And this also means that you're facing anyone who's rushing around on that side. Now we go back to the windows again. This time we're shooting into the banana. You can see the tank gets spotted there and you have plenty of time to shoot it. This gives you both the spotting ability and the ability to do one shot of damage on anything pushing there. Very useful in ESL in particular. And this can be done from a number of locations actually. Here's the second most common one in this window here to the just right hand side of the banana. You can do it from the opposite side now. And a very similar position you can spot, and you can get a free shot on any tanks that are approaching. Now we move on to the kind of 2 and 3 line here, the rail tracks, or train tracks or whatever. You can shoot through the gaps in numerous places here. These buildings have loads of gaps in them. I'm just going to run through them quickly now. And particularly these ones you should pay attention to, because there is actually no hitbox here. You can shoot right through it in very a very odd position to go in. You might surprise someone with a free shot. Again, tiny gaps in the walls here. If someone's driving past and you'll spot them with a proxy, then you can get a free shot here, and you can do it numerous times actually, because there's tons of gaps in these buildings. Another one here, quite obvious. So I'm just going to run through the remaining gaps now. Keep in mind that the pipes here aren't actually modelled, so you can shoot right through it. Even though it doesn't look like you can still see the silhouette. It's a pretty slim shot, but a shot all the same. So now we're going to drive across. There's some more here just further south. This next one here is very useful, as you can shoot down the D road, or the G road I mean, with it. You can also shoot tanks directly in front of you, but further than that you can see right down the whole road if you can get the right angle on it, particularly with the IS-3, which will be commonly used there. But the 5100 also works very well because it's actually taller, so you can see more. And another sneaky shot through the doors here. Now here we have a bit of an unusual position. It's actually a broken wall that you can shoot through. There's a wall and then a gap on the other side. As you can see here, you can't actually see the tank, but you have a very clear shot on anything on the upper hull, the turret, anything like that you can hit. You can shoot through the piece of wood here. For some reason they just forgot to put a hitbox there, I don't know. But you can do this pretty much only from one side. You should be almost impervious to damage here. And if there's a tank approaching, it's a nice way to get a free shot without having any chance of actually exposing yourself to any return fire. And you can't really use this the opposite way. It's almost impossible to use it the opposite way, so actually quite a useful position here for maybe even just spotting on this corner, even if you're not shooting, just to get a spot to see if anybody's pre-aiming you in there. Now this position here, you can't really do it with the IS-3, but I don't have a T-32 in my garage, which would be the most common tank in this location. You can shoot through exactly where I'm looking now. If you're just a bit taller, in a T-32 or a 5100 perhaps, you can shoot through this window and onto the people poking on the D-line corner. Now we're going inside the square. You've got tons of positions where you can shoot through the gaps in the buildings here. Gaps in the buildings, windows, loads of them, which can, if you don't know these positions, can lead to you taking damage for no reason, to be honest, because you're just driving and then they get you to the wall and you can't return fire to them, obviously, because they'll just hide after they shoot you. So it's a good way of just keeping up to date with where you can be shot from. So I'm just going to run through them now. There's quite a few of them. There are also a number of these similar spots on the north side. I think people are actually a bit more familiar with the north side, just because it has a more glaring and kind of obvious one, which is the part where you can drive over. So I think more people have kind of gotten used to that map, or that part of the map, and know it a bit better. And I don't think there's any real need to show you all of these positions. I think everybody knows them by now. It's just simple, looking through the windows. You can't really do it if you're in a small tank. But yeah, that's all the positions I had. If I forgot any, sorry. Everybody makes mistakes, but yeah, that's all the ones I could think of. Let me know if you want to see some other maps covered, or which maps you want to see covered. I was thinking maybe Runeberg next. The small town in Runeberg has a lot of positions that can be used to get extra damage, particularly in ESL, but also in randoms you can use them there. So let me know if you want to see some more. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.